everyone, welcome to Every Day, your daily stop for virtual reality content. I am D, and today I'm going to be exploring a few of the other demos that you can play on the Oculus Rift with the Razer Hydra accessory, which tracks the position of these two controllers in space, including their orientation and position. I showed you guys last time in the last two episodes how you can use it to play Half-Life 2. And there's quite a few other things you can do with it. It can be used, I'm going to show you today, to move your hands around in Riftmax Theater in order to interact with other people who are watching videos with you. You can use it in Minecrift to track your position in space as you're walking around inside the Oculus Rift in Minecraft. And finally, I'm going to show you the official Sixense Tuscany demo, which is a variant or variation of the Tuscany demo that comes with the Oculus SDK that's been extended for the Razer Hydras so that you can see your hands and interact with objects that they've added to the world. Now I have these for a limited time, which is why I'm going through all of these demos super fast. There's a bunch of things you can do with the Oculus Rift and the Razer Hydra. I want to kind of get through all of them. And the reason I don't have one of these of my very own is because they're super rare. They're out of production. They went out of production pretty much before the Oculus Rift, around the time the Oculus Rift came around. And so back then, before the Oculus Rift was a factor, they were kind of not doing so great. They weren't selling well. They were selling deeply discounted prices. And that was because it's just hard to make a compelling experience where you're using your hands to play a game, but you can't see your hands. You don't get that impression of you're actually seeing your hands in the game. And that's kind of what the Oculus Rift brought to the table, is that those two together, they pair together so well. You can get a great seated VR experience that's convenient for just about anybody. Unfortunately, by the time that happened, the Razer Hydra was out of production, and so now they're going for some ridiculous prices on eBay, like $500, because people who have the 50,000 developer kits suddenly realized, I actually want these things. So, and this has happened to a ton of accessories that I think were great VR accessories that just kind of happened. They were driven to market before their time, before VR as a whole was ready, before we had the Oculus Rift, before we had a great headset. Another one that I had when several years ago was the P5 glove. It was an open glove design where it had rings around your fingers, and it would track the bend of your fingers and the position of your hand in space using, I think it was some kind of IR receiver. And that worked reasonably well. It had a pretty good update rate. It could track all your fingers very precisely, but again, without a headset to complement it, you just can't get that same impression. That, first of all, the headset kind of necessitates that you have access to controls that you can operate blindly, and there's nothing that you can operate blindly more easily than your hands, because that's what you're accustomed to, using your hands in everyday life without having to look at them. Anyway, with no further ado, let's grab our Razer Hydras and grab our Oculus Rift and jump into the demos. Now, if some of you guys are waiting for me to continue Half-Life 2, I'm going to be doing that in a future episode after I've gone through a few more of these demos. But I will be returning to Ravenholm, and I will be using my gravity gun more next time to cut apart some zombies. So stay tuned and check out these demos while you're at it, because there's tons of fun things you can do with the Razer Hydra that don't necessarily involve being Gordon Freeman. Alright, here we are back in Riftmax Theater. Riftmax Theater is a multiplayer virtual cinema experience that has some interesting features, including Razer Hydra support, which I didn't show the last time that I showed this. So I'm just going to jump into one of the games. So there's just one theater right now with one person in it. This is Thriller 4D. When it says 4D, what it means is that the movie has 3D model effects that come out in addition to the film itself being 3D. It also includes 3D models that come out into the cinema. You'll see what I mean. So I just clicked yes to load the video, and now I'm going to pick up my Razer Hydras. And right now you can see my hands are down there, but my Razer Hydras aren't doing anything. So in this particular game, the way you synchronize it, you put the Razer Hydras down horizontally, so they should be held like, okay, I'm pulling my wires. You should hold them horizontally like this, And you should put them down by your waist where you see those hands right now. And then you should push the start button on both hands just once. And now I can move my hands. Now, it's not a one-to-one thing. These hands look kind of enormous. I feel kind of like a giant looking at them. Like, this feels like it covers my whole face very easily. And if I try and like clap my hands, they don't go together. So they're separated by quite a space here. So it's not a clear one-to-one mapping between your body and the hands. And I think that's something that developers are still really struggling to get right. The sense of scale, the sense of position, the sense of relative position of your body parts. So you can control this experience entirely with the Hydra Razer. You use the left stick to move, the right stick to rotate, just like in MT Control Mode 0 when we played Half-Life. Now, some other features are available on the buttons. You can see some fog has just come out of this theater, so I'm going to jump in there for the rest of my talk. So there's some fog just flowing over the seats here. There's a 3D movie up on the screen. I'm just going to climb over down the aisle. I'm going to sit next to this person who is animated a bit strangely. They don't look like they're actually sitting. And I'm going to sit down by pressing this button. There we go. Hi there. So you can imagine, like, if you had a good glove controller, you could imagine all the kinds of body language you can do with just your hands. You can wave to people, you can wave off people, you can beckon them to come closer, you could gesture, move your arms apart, put them together, cross your arms. You can do all those kinds of things that you do in real life. So, as you could just see there, that explosion that it made right in front of me, that was an actual 3D modeled explosion, not part of the film. And you can see the film also has quite a lot of depth. Like that sword looks like it's sticking out over the seats right in front of me. And then this 3D modeled sword goes right by my head. So it's kind of the idea of this little short film is just to make you feel a little bit more immersed in the film than you would in a normal 3D film. I'm not sure how well it accomplishes that. It feels a little bit gimmicky. I think in the long term what we really want is like 360-degree films where you can stand in the middle of the actual set in the film and look all around. But this can still be fun because you can get some of the elements of the film and also kind of have a social experience with the people next to you. And move your hand through their head apparently. Whoa, that's trippy. Okay. The hands don't do a lot in this particular... Okay, something just exploded. Here's a little message that tells us the following vignette was to be shown on a giant LCD screen as a prelude to the performance. Many of the zombies in the graveyard are Michael's dancers in costume and makeup. At the end, the spider was going to appear on stage, then... Oh, I didn't catch it. Too late. So a little explosion just happened right in front of me. So you might be wondering, do other people see it happening right in front of me? And the answer is no. Everybody sees their 3D models that accompany the film happening directly relative to themselves. So everybody would see that explosion right in front of themselves and not in front of others. So you just saw that broken glass fall down in front of me. And there's just a bunch of little extras like that in this film. There are some other random features it has that I didn't show last time. I can bring up my lightsaber. I can twist it in my hand. I can swing it. I could battle somebody with lightsabers. I can bring up the chat, which isn't very useful if I don't have my keyboard to type in it. I could bring my keyboard here and I could say hi. Oh, that chandelier just fell right in front of me. I'm gonna try to say hi. I can't quite feel where my keyboard is. That's a K. That's a hi. There we go. That was my best attempt. Okay, well, no more chat. Okay, so I hold down this button to talk on my microphone. Testing, testing. I don't know if that guy heard me, but maybe he did. This is the laser pointer. It lets me use my hand to point at anything. This would probably be more useful in some kind of virtual presentation. You could imagine a virtual business meeting where instead of having a laser pointer, you just like use your finger and you go point there. And it you have a laser coming out of your finger. And that would be super useful. It would also be kind of awesome just to have like laser fingers. On your other hand, you have... That just brings up the FPS. That's your other hand's laser pointer, so you could use 2 laser pointers. You can make your own little laser light show. And this button doesn't seem to do anything. If I hold down the triggers, it closes the palms, so I can punch people. I think it'll be a lot cooler when I'm able to actually bend my fingers and see my fingers respond in real time, like I can with a glove controller, like the P5 glove, which I have tried out before. If I hold down the upper trigger on the right Hydra while I'm seated, it brings up a little menu, so I can control some of the functions of the experience from here. I'm not running the Hydra Razer mouse utility now, so I'm not able to actually move the mouse to select options from this menu, unless I use my mouse, which would require putting down my Hydra. So, but assuming that we're configured correctly, I would be able to hold down this button and then move my mouse using the control stick to select one of these options. I could click sync to sync the video with the server. Currently it's unsynced. I could click LR to switch the left and right eye views, which looks a little bit strange. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, except if your video was reversed in the first place. That should probably be tuned to the video, or should be set by the server, as I was saying, rather than set on an individual basis. The other thing you can do, you can summon a drink or popcorn. I'm going to summon a popcorn. Here it comes, my popcorn. Now I haven't so far managed to do anything resembling eating my popcorn. I got it. Oh, I dropped it. I keep dropping it. I always drop it. So, that's the experience so far. Sorry there aren't more players to hang out with right now. I will see you guys in the next demo. So first I'm going to show you how to install it. You want to go to minecraft-vr.com. You're going to come up with this page. Then click on the Powered by CloudBees button on the left. You will come to this page, and it will give you this link to an exe installer file right here. So you want to click on this. When it's done downloading, just execute it, and it'll pop up like this. Now, if you want to use it with the Razer Hydra, you have to remember to check the Include Razer Hydra Support button. This is for using it with the Forge mod. I'm not using that mod, so I'm going to leave that unchecked. And away we go. It says installed successfully, restart Minecraft and edit profile, use version, and here's the version number. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Here's my Minecraft launcher. And I'm going to edit my profile. And in the use version list, I'm going to select the version I just installed. So if you install it without Hydra support, you'll get the -no Hydra on the end. And you don't want that one if you're using the Razer Hydra. You want this one without the -no Hydra. And it has to be a release Minecrift, not one of the normal release numbers. Those won't have any Oculus Rift support. And I'm going to save profile. Then I'm going to click play. And that's it. I'll be in the game. Alright, so when you first start up Minecrift, first of all, if it's in windowed mode, go ahead and change it to full screen mode by hitting the F11 key. And you will be here at the main menu. It'll say calibrating Oculus. Look ahead and press spacebar. So do it. And now the main menu screen should be directly in front of you. Now I'm going to click multiplayer, and I'm going to join up with the Minecrift server, which is a dedicated multiplayer server for people with Oculus Rifts. And I'm going to click that. And here I am. So I'm not at the spawn right now, so I'm going to go home. Home. There we go. And this is the spawn. This is where you start out. And I'm just going to configure position tracking with the Hydra Razer. So right now, if I lean left or if I lean right, it doesn't, from your perspective, nothing is changing very much. And from my perspective, the world is kind of shifting with me as I move. and that's not desirable. Likewise, if I go forward or back, it does the same thing. And the reason for this is because when the Oculus Rift only tracks the rotation of your head, and it uses something called the neck model. The neck model says that it has an imaginary virtual head and neck with an Oculus Rift on it. And it uses that to determine where to put the two cameras in the virtual world. As you turn your head, it assumes that virtual head is turning in the same manner. And that does mean that, like, you're not just literally in one position turning around. It is taking that virtual neck model into account. So that's how you're able to get some amount of position changing by turning your head, but not very much. So I'm going to go into VR settings, head position tracking, and currently it's set to mode neck model. That's what I was just talking about. It tells you the length of, you can set some parameters here. Minecrift has a load of just tons and tons of parameters. You can configure almost everything that you can possibly imagine with custom settings. I'm going to just click mode neck model, and now I switch to mode Razer Hydra. Now if I reach forward, where's my Razer Hydra? There it is. And I grab my left Razer Hydra. Is this my left one? That's probably not my left one. Okay. There's my left one. Ah, got it. Okay. So you can see as I move my left Razer Hydra up and down, or left and right, or forward and back, it changes my position in the world. But I want it to be put me at the correct height when I am standing normally and not moving my head up or down. And in order to do that, I need to put it, so I prefer to do it this way. There are several different ways to attach the Razer Hydra to your head. You can attach it to the left side of your head, and if you do that, you should put this to left side. You can attach it to the top of your head, like this. You can attach it to the right side of your head. You can attach it to the back of your head, back here, which makes it a nice counterweight. Or you can put the left and right hydras both on each side of your head. So that's carefully balanced, and it also puts the center position right in the middle of your head, which is kind of cool. Anyway, I'm going to be using top because I find it the easiest to do without any special equipment. So I'm just going to sit it right up here on the top center strap. And now I'm going to click Reset Origin. Now what that did is it made it so that my current position is that my head is in the normal position when the Hydra Razer is in this position where it is right now. And if it moves up or down or left or right or forward or back, then it'll change. Now, because I want it to actually stick up here without me holding it, I'm just going to undo the Velcro on the top strap of the Rift. I'm going to stick it in there, nice and snug. Then I'm going to close it. So this is not a completely secure solution. It has some problems. Most notably, if I lean this way, it can kind of slip out and fall. But it's good enough for trying it out and for showing it. So this is ready to go. I'm going to click Done, 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 back to game. And now, if I lean in close, I can get a close look at my food and my hearts. I can pull back away. And if I walk in my environment up to a pole like this, I can actually lean around the pole and see what's on the other side on both sides. So that's pretty cool. If I go over to a button, like this button over here, I can... so right now I just see the front of the button. If I lean this way, I can see this side of the button. Now I see the left side of the button. If I push up, I see the top of the button. And if I go down, I can see the bottom of the button. So that's the kind of that's basically what the Razer Hydra gives you, that position tracking. And unlike the neck model, it will always reflect the actual position of your head in space, unless your Razer Hydra has is having tracking problems, or you've knocked it out and it falls to the floor, which can be a little bit disconcerting. I really want to jump down there. I think that'll be fun, but I gotta find a safe place to land. Maybe over here? Can I land in that water? No, I'm not gonna make that jump. It's actually like if you ever have problems with nausea with the Oculus Rift. One reason you can get that is because the neck model might not be very representative of how you move your head, of the shape and how you tend to move your head around. And that can cause the actual motion you perceive to not fully reflect how you're actually moving your eyes in space. So I really recommend you try out a position tracking solution like the one I'm using now if you have trouble with VR sickness. And now that the rain has started, I want to show you a really cool thing. Hit escape. Oh, it doesn't work on multiplayer servers. If you're on single player server and you hit escape in the rain, it'll actually freeze the rain in place. It's really cool for the stereoscopic 3D effect. Anyway, time to jump. Oh god, it's so far. Geronimo! Oh boy, oh boy. Ah! Ooh, nearly hit that little island and died. Whoop, down in the water. Now I'm just gonna stick my face in this water. Just like I did in Half-Life, you can put your face through things, and sometimes it's cool to do that. If I make a little hole in the ground here, you should be able to do a similar thing. So hold on. I need to make a little hole. Just gonna destroy some of this. There we go. Getting some dirt. And I'm gonna make a hole right here in the middle. And then I'm just gonna come up here and lean my head into the hole. And I can see the sides of the hole on all sides of my head. And then I can lean back out of the hole. So I think that's fun to do. And you can imagine having like a window on your little house, and you could look out through the window and look outside, look down and see the side of your house. I'm tempted to try that now. Let me see if I can go inside here. And I'm just gonna make a little... Okay, this is my window, sort of. I am super close to this wall. Okay, well, I can't break stone right now because I don't have the tools, but yeah, you can see that you could just kind of lean out here, lean farther out in the window to get a better view of what's outside than you normally could. So that's Minecrift. I'm going to come back to this later for a fuller exploration, but that shows you how Razer Hydra can enhance the experience. Alright, so here we are in a familiar demo. This is Tuscany, the official sort of demo that comes with the Oculus SDK. Most people who have used an Oculus Rift have seen it at some point. And this is actually an extended or expanded version of Tuscany created by Sixense, who are the original designers of the Razer Hydra. So I'm going to grab my Razer Hydras, which are in front of me here, and it gives me some directions once I pick them up. Tells me what each of the buttons do, and then it sends me directly into calibration. So touch both controllers to your shoulders and press both triggers. And now I have hands. Here they are. I really like the hands in this one. I think they're a great detailed model. I think they have a good mapping into space. Like when my hands go together in real life, they're just touching, and that's perfect. Unlike in Riftmax Theater. You will notice that your hand goes much farther out than your arm would go in real life, and they do that on purpose. It makes it easier to pick things up off the ground. So, for example, if I wanted to pick up this basketball, I reach down and I press the trigger button on my right hand, and I got it. And it automatically grabs it and picks it up. You can try to pick things up with physics, but the balls kind of roll off your hand, so that doesn't work so well. Yeah, so I prefer to use the trigger to hold on to things. And you see I can drop things from one hand to the other, no problem. I can bounce. Little dribbling. Okay, that was some bad dribbling. Let me try that one more time. Dribble. Oh, come on. One more time. Whoa! I hit it pretty hard that time. Oh, is it bouncing out the window? No. Basketball. Get back here. Okay. There's a nice fire here. You can put logs on the fire. burn them up. You can burn your hand. I can take the basketball, try and burn the basketball. But the basketball is impervious to fire. It is invincible. Get out of here, basketball. Okay, I'm gonna try and throw the basketball out the window now. See if I can do this. Ready, set, go! There we go. Off it goes, towards the wall. Bye, basketball. So, while it goes wandering outside, I'm gonna take a look at these books. I only want one of them. Give me that. I like to put a book between my thumb and hand like I would in real life. And just kind of grab onto it. Come on. I want this to be just right. That's good enough. And when I'm holding a book like this, I can hold it right up to my face. If there were text on this page, I would be able to read it. So that's really cool. And I like just being able to turn the geometry of this thing all around and have all the rotations just match up with my natural movements. And you can imagine doing like 3D modeling or something with this, where you would be able to manipulate objects with your natural movements the same way you do with your hands in real life, and not have to worry about like trying to do it with a mouse and only being able to manipulate a couple dimensions at a time instead of in every direction like this. Gonna put you down. And they added a nice bookshelf here with a bunch of books. You can grab some books. You can stack them up. Oh, what's this green book? What's inside here? I don't know about this green book. I don't like this green book. I think we have to take care of it. It is forbidden knowledge. Dangerous to our society. There, took care of that. I think it just burns forever. Over here by the door is a baseball. Before I pick this up, I'm going to tweak the settings a bit. So right now, like I said, my arms reach really far away, which lets me pick things up off the ground. But if I tweak this from longest to 1:1, it asks me to recalibrate, and I do so. And now, I really like this 1:1 mode because I really feel more than I have with any other experience so far, like I'm really looking at my real hands here. They really update. They have a direct mapping in the position in VR to my real position. And they feel so close to being my real hands. And I'm gonna reach down and pick up this baseball. And like just seeing these hands holding this baseball, I can almost feel the weight of the baseball on my hand. Oh boy, it fell on the ground. It fell on the ground. I can't reach it. Ah, come back, baseball. Come back. Okay, well, when I'm sitting in my chair, I can't actually reach the ground, so I'm gonna set this back the longest and calibrate. Alright. Baseball. Get back here, stupid baseball. Okay. And if I can get the baseball to hold still for a second, I will recalibrate back to 1:1. And baseball. Gotcha. Alright. Now this baseball, I can throw it, just like I did with the basketball. And let's see how that goes. So I'm going to throw the baseball. Okay, I admit that was a pretty bad throw. Everybody who was hoping to put me on your softball team, I'm sure you're no longer considering it, and I perfectly understand. So you can see there's this, so they don't have the flowing water here like they do in the current official Tuscany demo. They have this kind of shallow water layer, and the baseball is just kind of rolling around just under it. It's very shallow water. And what else can I do? Oh, there's barrels out here. I want a barrel. I am super strong. Feels weird to be able to hold up a whole barrel just like over my head with one hand. I should grab it with both hands, really. There we go. Alright, I got a barrel over my head. Got to turn this way. And I'm going over to this balcony. I'm not sure if these hands are in exactly the right position, but it'll be good enough. It's weird to look down and see the shadow of my hands without any arms attached. Anyway. And let's send it down. Rah! Off it goes. Goodbye, barrel. So that is Sixense Tuscany. There's some other fun things to do in this demo. It's well worth exploring. And I really think, like I said, when it's in one-to-one mode, which again you access in this menu here. By the way, I really love this menu. I didn't mention this, but I love how this menu pops up in front of you and you poke the buttons to change it. It actually reminds me more than anything of Sword Art Online, where they would like bring up the menus in front of them and then they would just go poke, poke, poke to change things and select things in the menu. And like I imagine like if they could make a multiplayer version of this where other people see you bringing up your menu and see you poking things in it, I think that could be really cool, just as a really like a VR experience where you're able to see other people interacting with the UI. Anyway, so this is Sixense Tuscany, and I really recommend it as a way to get a pretty strong feeling of your hands actually being where they are in real life, and to try out interacting with objects like you would in real life in VR. And that's all for today, and next time I'm going to check out a few more Razer Hydra demos, and until then, everybody have a great every day.